Bjarne, it's so great to be here.
Great to have you.
Back in the room where so much magic was created.
Exactly. Over a year ago. So it's amazing to have you back.
Yes, that was, as we just talked, that was more or less 1 year ago when we went live. And I actually also thought about when we met first time. And that must have been exactly pretty much 2 years ago.
That's 2 years, yeah. That was in December 2023.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we are speaking about the brand strategy and the brand relaunch of TradeDoubler.
That's right.
The company I used to work for.
Yep.
And you and your team actually were selected by me and us after a pitch process, after visiting several agencies. And you were the one from the first, like you personally, but also the agency. Oh, I love giving you this feedback on camera now.
I love it. Just keep it coming.
You were from the first second to the last, up to now, we were all completely amazed by what kind of job you did and the results you guys produced for us. So thank you once again.
Well, thank you. And it was so exciting working together. And I think we had such a great, journey together. And it was really a cooperation and a partnership. So thanks for the nice words, and likewise.
Thank you. What makes a partnership like that stand out?
There's that cliche that it takes two to tango, but it's actually true. It doesn't matter. You can have a great agency, but if there isn't the right chemistry or the right way of working together with a client, then the end result will not be as good. So I think, and sometimes it's a matter of personal chemistry as well. So sometimes it clicks and sometimes it doesn't. And I think, and this time, I think we had a great sort of dialogue, constructive dialogues. Even when we didn't agree, there was always a very constructive sort of way of handling things. And I think that's actually what you can see that on the end result, if the process has been sort of constructive and positive throughout. And I think that is obviously very much something that we as consultants need to think about always. How do we create the right energy and the right chemistry in a partnership? Because after all, what we do is not that different from what other agencies do.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of creating that sort of chemistry in the relationship and securing that there is a constructive dialogue in all aspects of the partnership. So.
And that's interesting that you speak about energy and the chemistry, because that's maybe one of my strengths, to find that energy or to identify it and to understand whether there's a match or not. So yeah, that might have been the main ingredient for our joint success together. So we are here with Bjarne. You are the CEO of IW, of Identity Works. You are the group CEO, formerly. Now, you just told me earlier, you're not the group CEO anymore because you consolidated.
Yeah, we've consolidated our companies. Our company, our consultancy agency is now called IV Agency, and I'm CEO heading. It's a branding and communication agency.
And Identity Works. I never asked you that question, but I was looking forward to this moment to actually ask you the question. What does Identity Works mean for you?
I think part of the reason why we actually changed name and are now called IV is that we didn't really feel that Identity Works longer sort of refer to what we actually are doing. I think the term identity is very much sort of connected with some sort of visual expression, and visual identity is very much sort of where it comes from. And I think this agency that I'm now representing, we've been around for 30 years, and it started very much as a design agency, where it was a lot about sort of creating visual identities for brands. And as we have evolved, our role and our offer is much, much broader than that. It involves like different sort of strategic areas. Obviously, design is still important, communication, innovation, digital experience, etc. So I think it was a very clever name when it was when it was founded in like 25-ish years ago. But I think today our role is much, much broader than creating identities for brands.
Okay, but just to get it straight and right, maybe I missed something. You are now called, I mean, the company?
IV.
IV.
Yeah.
Which stands for?
It stands for nothing.
Okay.
It's a short, obviously, it comes from our sort of our history, but we've deliberately have not sort of created some sort of meaning to IV. It's just IV.
And the main ingredients of IV today is, as you said, branding.
Brand strategy, design, communication, digital experience, and innovation. Those are the 5 sort of different areas where we sort of provide expertise for our clients.
Digital innovation, you said?
Digital experience.
Experience, yeah. Okay. Is that very tech-oriented?
It's very tech-oriented, and it becomes even more tech-oriented, obviously, with the AI transformation that the entire industry is going through. We have a lot of sort of quite tech-heavy projects these days and a lot of developers that helps building products for our clients.
Okay, so you basically build or offer the whole range from branding in the beginning till implementation.
And that's the thought. I mean, our ambition is to sort of be a partner that could sort of take a client throughout sort of the entire branding journey, from insight, strategy, design, communication, digital experience, and innovation, and provide a seamless offer so that you don't, as a client, have to sort of go from one agency to another agency depending on sort of what area where you need help.
So this whole process in these difficult economic times we live in, how did demand shift or change over time?
I think we've been so lucky. I mean, I've been with the company for like 15 plus years, and we've been very lucky that we've seen constant growth and quite good profitability. And we saw a quite dramatic shift last year, 2024, where we have to sort of downscale and regroup basically. And I'm so happy now when we're leaving 2025. I'm very happy for us to sort of we've through that now, and we have a quite solid business again, where we have an operation or a capacity that sort of is balanced with the client demand. So I think we managed to sort of come through like the COVID period without really any effect on our business. But last year was the first time in like 15 years where we experienced difficulties. But I think that's also been very valuable for us as a company, because in difficult situation, you really need to sort of ask yourself what we are good at and what we are not good at, and challenge the things that are. It's quite difficult to challenge the existing nature when things are going well. So I think we really identified a lot of areas where we felt we needed to take a step. And this year we're in right now has been a year of transformation for us, where we have been working together as an agency. Or every person in the organization has been very deeply involved in that transformation.
That was one of my following questions or follow-up questions. How did you go through those turbulent times? What played a role in actually maneuvering out?
I think this time around, last year, we in a small group, we formed like the basic direction for our company going forward. It was very much on an overall level, the direction for the company. We didn't fill that strategy with any details. And then we launched that direction or presented that direction at a kickoff in January this year, and formed actually 9 different work groups that involved every single person in the organization. I mean, we had one group working with our project management, one group working with our brand, one with our offer, one with our culture, etc. So we have 9 different work groups with like a brief basically for each group, what we wanted to achieve, and the overall direction was set, but the details was up to those 9 work groups to define. So we had a quite intense transformation period this spring from January till May. And in mid-May, we launched our new brand and our new organization and our new offer. And obviously this fall has been a lot about sort of implementing that and taking care of all the loose ends that came up. But I think the involvement was a tremendous success, actually. And I think that was the only way for us to manage a rapid transformation in such a short sort of period. So it was an experiment, and I was a bit scared when we launched it, but it actually went amazingly well.
What I hear you say in my words is that you didn't decide to go top down in strategy. You decided to go bottom up.
Exactly. And I think, I mean, obviously the overall direction was set more as a brief, basically. Okay, we're going in that direction. But everything when it came sort of details on how should our organization be structured, how should our offer be constructed, everything, that was not defined at all. That was very much about sort of those 9 working groups to define. So
with probably several people per group.
Yeah, no, it was like a group of maybe between 5, 6, 7 people in each group, and I and a couple of other people were serving as a steering group. So those groups, they reported to me maybe once a month. There was a check-in where I sort of listen in and hear what they were sort of, in what direction were they taking. And obviously I didn't always agree. and sometimes there was a dialogue on sort of different, but I think I would say 80-90% of what came out of those groups I was totally happy with and felt that this makes sense. And then there were a few things where I felt that things might be sort of going in their direction where I didn't envision. And sometimes I had my way, and sometimes the group convinced me that that was the direction to go.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you are in charge. You have to take the decisions. But you just, like 30 seconds ago, said the magic word. You listened in. Listening, that's a skill that not so many have, actually. But that's the key ingredient for leading teams or even in coaching, in management. Listening to what the people have to say. Listening to, because from my experience working with clients and client-facing teams, what I recognized at some point in time is that those teams, they are out there working with the clients every day. So I better start listening what they have to say because they are representing their clients. It's up to me to build a strategy out of it. But I was, at that point, I was welcoming feedback. I was listening even more. I was making my natural skill of listening become a strategic tool. It was crazy. And I think this is, who am I to say from the outside? But it sounds as if this was a key ingredient for your success.
I totally agree. And I think, I mean, as a consultancy agency, I mean, obviously we're like 60 quite smart people in this organization, and that have a lot of valid sort of perspectives on what it will take to sort of create a successful agency. So I think, as you say, I mean, the organization, they are meeting our clients every single day. And that's where you learn a lot. And that's actually why I've set up my role so that I spend like half of my time being a consultant, meeting clients, because I think it's very hard for a small organization like ourselves to have a manager that is not out there meeting clients, sitting in client presentations, taking briefs, whatever, because that's how you understand the needs and the expectations and the feedback from the clients. I think that's super important.
So now we spent some time speaking about the difficult times, the economic uncertainty, but we actually turned it around, flipped it around by saying what worked well in those times. What is the prognosis? What is the outlook for next year?
I mean, we are quite optimistic, actually. I mean, as I said, last year was tough. This year we'll be landing fine. Not really where we want to be, but I mean, we're fine with that because it's been a year of transformation. I think we see both a lot of positive signals from the market, but also I think the effect of our transformation work, I think we've not really seen the effect of that yet. I think we will see that next year. So, I mean, we're going into next year with a quite optimistic view, actually.
That's nice to hear. And also, it's a little bit crazy because Why would that be the case? And I'm listening or hearing outlooks like these from different people. And I wonder what is changing out there in the world that makes people feel 2026 will be optimistic for their business?
Yeah. No, that's a really good question. But I think also, I mean, we've been through quite a few years with a tough financial situation, or our clients has been experiencing quite a few years now. I mean, some clients already from 2020 have been struggling.
Yeah.
First there was COVID, and then there was like war, and there was some like high interest rates and inflation, etc., etc. So I really think a lot of brands now have felt that we need to start invest in the future and in our brand.
Yeah.
And you can only sort of be holding back for only a period of time. And I think now some companies has been having a quite tough situation for quite a few years. And I think that's one of the reasons. But I also think, and talking from our own perspective, obviously with the downscaling we did last year, I think we are in a better position now because we have a tighter group, a tighter organization, and which also gives us a more positive sort of perspective on next year, because it doesn't take as much as it did 12 months ago or 18 months ago to be profitable and to have a prosperous business.
Yeah. You obviously need to go through a valley in order to reach the peak again.
Yeah.
And then at some point in the future, redefine the peak and maybe have to go through a valley again.
Yeah.
What listening to you reminded me of a podcast talk actually I had a couple of weeks back in Rwanda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw you were there actually. I saw that on social.
And I spoke to somebody called Gaddafi, and he is a very successful entrepreneur. How did he become successful? Well, just by rolling up the sleeves and doing the job. So he became one of the biggest, maybe the largest videographers, visual directors of the big music and sports events in Rwanda. And it was a fantastic talk. The longer it went, the deeper it got. And at some point he said something, and he described the history of Rwanda, which of course is very, very much affected by the genocide more than 30 years ago, which was a horrible, devastating experience for people living in Rwanda at that time that you cannot even understand. I started to understand a little bit going to Rwanda and visiting the genocide memorial and just, logically making sense of it. But those guys down there went through that situation, or when they were born after, they still suffered from the trauma, and they still suffered from the difficulties that the genocide brought with it for many, many years after. And at some point we concluded in the talk, I used the word saying, the future is bright. And the way Gaddafi then replied and reflected on what I said just is so, it gives me goosebumps, because he repeated with a very satisfying, not satisfying, you need to check it for yourself, but he repeated, the future is bright in Rwanda.
Like you achieve your dreams, nothing can be like obstacle for you. If you have a dream, you can chase it in Rwanda. It's easy. Yeah.
Great. This spirit is not around in all the places in this world. It's something special, I think, in Rwanda. Yes?
Yeah, we call it uniqueness of Rwanda.
So, in my words, the future is bright in Rwanda.
Yeah, sure. The future is bright in Rwanda.
And now, building the bridge to what you said, I feel like the future in your specific case in this situation for 2026 is bright, maybe because you went through a period of suffering.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I think I said it earlier, I think maybe before we started recording, that, I mean, I think our change process has been, it was so much easier, so to say, because of our struggling or our tough situation.
Yeah.
I think we came from like almost a 15-year period of constant growth and solid business. I mean, it's quite difficult to drive change when everything is working fine. I mean, it's quite hard to get acceptance for a transformation process when everything is working fine, and then it's quite hard to go to people and ask them to change, because the first question you get is why.
Yeah.
But I think when we saw last year that things didn't work any longer, then I think everyone understood, okay, we need to do something different. So I think that's a learning from my end, to really take advantage of tough periods, because that's when you can sort of get an acceptance on transformation and on change. And it's quite easy to get people on board.
Yes. And when people see the progress and the success, most of them follow even more.
Yeah.
Speaking about success, is there a specific case you have in mind that is exceptionally successful, except for the Tredoubler case in recent times? Is there something you can point to?
I mean, I think we just last week we were awarded or nominated in a competition. It's called 100 Wattan, which is a competition based on business effect. And obviously, as a design and communication agency, we always want to do sort of edgy work and work that sort of could compete from a more creative perspective. But at the end of the day, our job is about helping solving business challenges for our clients. And the client is Spendrups, and we've helped them form a brand new beer label and called Lucky Bait, and it was launched like a year ago, and it's been an amazing success, and is now one of the most sold beers in Sweden.
Wow.
And I think, yes, it was a great design and everything was great, but at the end of the day, it was also an amazing business success. And I think that what makes me proud, when our work is not only great from a creative perspective, but actually also is doing great from a business perspective for our clients.
Yeah. Between the lines, first of all, congratulations to that. Between the lines, I can hear that there might be people, not in your company, but on the client side, that don't believe that branding and the creative side is that important.
That's always the case, and not sort of, I mean, quite often our closest sort of contact person in the client organization is often a believer in terms of branding and communication, but then there are other stakeholders within that organization that might not be as convinced that communication and branding drives business effect. And that's something that we as a consultant, we need to help our contact person to sell our ideas, not only from a creative perspective, but also from a business perspective.
Yeah.
Why is this direction? In what way will this this creative solution drive your business?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the higher you go up in an organization, it tends to be more and more business-oriented sort of arguments that is required, and which is good. And I think we've always, as an agency, been quite business-oriented. We want to do great jobs from a creative perspective, but we also want our jobs to have a business effect for our clients, and that's something we try to sort of balance in a good way, and we really don't think that there is any contradiction between those two perspectives. Quite the opposite. Our belief is that great creation does drive business value, and I think there are a lot of scientific proof that that's the case as well. But not everyone wants to listen on that.
Yeah. My own experience is definitely like that. You can only tell stories if there are powerful brandings and ideas behind it. Let me ask you a final question. Time flies, so I just checked the watch at the time. Let me ask you a last question, because we live in the times of AI, and you mentioned AI earlier. I would love to deep dive into the topic of AI in a branding consulting agency more, maybe at some other point. But can you just make a statement on or complete the sentence like, for us, AI means?
Yeah, no, it's obviously a massive question because, I mean, AI will change our industry to something completely different. And I think that's quite exciting. Nobody really knows how. Everyone knows that it will. And I think our strategy has been very much the first couple of years. I mean, if you say that the starting point was when ChatGPT was launched in whatever it was, like 3-4 years ago, I think we used the first year or so just experimenting, trying, testing without any real structure, just trying different things. And I think that's very much been our way of doing or using AI in our processes the first 1 to 2 years. And since like a year back or something, we're trying to sort of get a bit more structure into how we are working with AI tools and where in the processes and for what and et cetera, et cetera. And now this last year, we've start building our own products. So we have like one internal product that makes our job more efficient, but we're also building products for our clients to make their life more efficient and better. So I think we're coming from an operation that's been very much human-based, and what I envision is that we will have an operation and an offer that is part digital systems and part human skills.
Yeah.
And I think that's how we see that our offer should be constructed going forward. And we have sort of taken our first steps in that direction. We're not there yet, and I think no one will, or we will never be exactly there. But what I see is that the balance between what we do as a consultant with man-made deliveries and what types of systems we will deliver, that will probably be a balance going forward. Maybe it's a 50-50 process, and I think we are steering our own organization to become more of an advisor, facilitator, quality assurance, etc., project management, and part of the actual production will be handled through technology with the help of technology. So that will long-term affect how we will be constructed as an organization, I think. So far we haven't really seen that, but I wouldn't be surprised if we will have a different balance between different competences in a consultancy agency going forward.
Yeah. Good luck for that journey. Good luck for 2026.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me in. It was a pleasure talking to you. It was also new for me. I don't have so many physical podcasts. I love it. I like it much more, actually.
Yeah.
Tech is great. I can speak to anybody in the world with digital devices, fine. But I might try and get more guests in front of the camera with me together.
Cool.
I have the luxury situation that we still have a little bit time to chat and talk.
Yeah, that's great.
After we switch off the recording. But this is exactly what I'm going to do now. So thank you, Bjarne.
Thank you, Uli. Great to see you again. Thank you.